Hello. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the vlog. It's Pee and Peter's bachelor weekend. Or we're gonna have a one-night bachelor weekend because Alex is going to Chicago tomorrow to go hear this DJ that's now, the name is just completely just, oh, why can't I think of who it is? I'm thinking in my head Fetty Laurent, but that's not who it is. Why can't I think of who it is? Rufus Du Sol. It's Rufus Du Sol. He's going up there. And I was originally supposed to go, but I was like, I don't really want to drive all the way to Chicago. I mean, I like Rufus Du Sol, but I don't like him that much. Alex is so excited. This is like his favorite DJ of life. And I mean, every time he is like in the car or at home, he is listening to Rufus Du Sol. So he's super excited about it. And originally it was supposed to be with me. And then I was like, you know, I'll go, but if you know, whatever. So if you find somebody else. And so his friend really wanted to go. And so he was like, so she's going instead. And then this guy and his girlfriend that Alex are friends with, they're going too. So they're excited. They're going to have fun. Alex has to work tomorrow till like mid-afternoon, and then they're driving to Chicago. They're going to go see the show, and then he's driving back. The downside of this is that my husband is sick right now. He is sniffling, sneezing. He is really come down with a cold or the flu or something. And I was teasing him tonight. I was like, I think probably the right thing to do would be to skip this concert. He looked at me like I was crazy. He was like, no, I'm going. He goes, skip work or skip the concert? I was like, right, that's the question, isn't it? So anyway, but he is so excited about that, which means that tomorrow is PP and Peter's bachelor weekend. I'm gonna try to vlog throughout the day a little bit tomorrow so that I can do a live stream tomorrow night. And yeah, and while Alex is gone, and Tanya has something she has to go to tomorrow night, so I'm kind of like on my own, you know? I'm gonna get some healthy food tomorrow night and have a healthy dinner at home. And yeah, tomorrow is my very first personal trainer appointment. Okay, so let's talk about the personal trainer appointment. And yes, it's Tuesday, so we will be doing my weigh-in here in just a second. I'll be talking about that, but I'm not giving up the goods in the first 5 minutes of the vlog. I will tell you that I am really craving a Diet Coke right now, so I'm gonna go. But I'm also really craving a Nutrageous bar, Reese's Nutrageous bar, and I am also craving a big, huge veggie burger, and I'm also craving a bag of potato chips and cheese and everything else. And I'm not gonna do that, and I'm just going to allow myself the Diet Coke. Because I've eaten really healthy all day today, and it was a real struggle for me today. I don't know what I had no problem last night whatsoever. I did really well yesterday, you know, and I was really worried getting back on track after I had that horrible cheat night. And a lot of people were like, thank you for, you know, being real honest, because that helps us too, the other people that have cheated and whatever. But like, here's the thing for me, right, that I was worried about was the mentality of, well, you cheated yesterday, you could cheat today and whatever. And I was afraid I was gonna get back into that loop, if that makes sense, of like, well, then I would have 2 or 3 cheat days in a row. Because I started thinking that way late last night. I was like, well, you're gonna weigh in tomorrow anyway, and then you have 5 days, and you can do, you know, eat really healthy for the next 5 days. I was like, no. So last night, I went to bed. I was very proud of myself. I didn't eat any bad food yesterday. I ate healthy all day long, and I had that horrible Evolve meal that I showed. And tomorrow night, I think I'm gonna try to like go and get some actual food and make something healthy. So if I do, I'll show it on here. But then I got up today and I did my prayers and my meditations. Oh, before I got up, Alex had to leave early for work this morning. And when he got up, the dogs got up, and I was like, so it woke me up, and I was laying there, and I woke up hungry. Does that ever happen to you? And I like woke up like so hungry. And I looked at him and I said, I am so hungry. And he goes, well, go downstairs and get something to eat. And I go, there's nothing. This is the problem. I don't have like really like just healthy things sitting around except for fruit, and I didn't want fruit. I wanted Hardee's or McDonald's breakfast or Burger King. breakfast or something like that. So I was like, whatever. And I laid there, and I honestly, I looked at him and I said, I'm gonna go to Hardee's in a second and get food. And he goes, you're gonna regret it. And I go, probably, but I don't know that I really care right now. And so I laid there and I was like, just fall back asleep and you'll be fine. So I fell back asleep and I got up, I don't know, about 10:30, something like that. And I wasn't hungry anymore when I got up. Imagine that. Did my prayers, did my meditations. I did a Lush cup of coffee face mask this morning, and really got, I was dragging this morning. Like, I was not motivated. I was just really struggling this morning when I got up, and you know, not like sad or anything like that. I just wasn't motivated to do shit today. Like, I just could have, like, honestly laid in bed and watched Netflix all day long. And do you ever have days like that? Like, I mean, I really just, it was kind of dark and gloomy out all day long. It's 25 degrees right now. And here's the problem with it being 25 degrees. I think I said something about this maybe last night about the problem with it being like 31. It doesn't feel cold outside to me, okay? That's a problem, that it's 25 degrees and it doesn't feel cold. But I actually have shoes on tonight. I have my Sperry's on, and and a coat, so it's, you know, whatever. Actually, my hair was done earlier because I took a shower, did my videos, and went to my meeting tonight, but I'll talk about that in a second. So anyway, I've been wearing this hat a lot. I really like this hat. So I got up, I did my prayers, my meditations. I had a little bit of a breakfast this morning, some fruit. But I wasn't really that hungry after that, and I did real well all day long. I ate really healthy all day today. I weighed myself this morning when I got up. It's my weekly weigh-in, and I'm gonna talk about it right now, and then I won't be talking about what my weigh-in scale is till next Tuesday. So I weighed myself this morning. Are you ready? I was nervous as shit to get on that scale after my humongous cheat day. I was 228 pounds, so I lost a total last week of 6.6 pounds. Now, I know that not every week is gonna be like that. I know that, you know, my goal right now is to lose like 2 to 2.5 pounds a week, because I think that's like healthy weight loss, you know? I mean, don't get me wrong, if I lost 5 pounds a week, I'd be completely fine with that. But only if I was losing it in a healthy way, like by working out, and I am really heavy right now. So I may lose more weight at the beginning. Like other times that I've like gotten into shape, like when I was this heavy, like the first couple weeks I did lose a lot of weight right away. So we'll just see what happens. But anyway, so I weighed in today, 228 pounds. I lost a total of 6.6 pounds. And I'm very proud of myself for that. Can you tell? I'm keeping a chart on my phone of my start weight, my goal, and my high and my low in the last 6.5, 7 years. And then every week I'm putting my weigh-in in there too. I have it in my notes. I'm also doing my Fitness Pal, but the thing with my Fitness Pal is that I don't really know what my start weight ever was on there. So I don't know, like it doesn't, like if I, you know, lose a pound or gain a pound, it's like inaccurate on there, because it'll say like, congratulations, you just lost 7 pounds total. And I'm like, but I don't know what my start weight was on there. Is there a way to find out on there? I don't know how. So anyway, yeah, that was the weight stuff for today. I'm not gonna get into talking about that at length. I just wanted to talk about my weigh-in on here. And Tanya even said to me tonight, she's like, I can kind of tell that you've lost some weight in your face. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, just a little bit, but I can really tell. I was like, a little bit, but you can really tell? She's like, I can tell that you've lost some weight in your face. I was like, oh my God. So anyway, so yeah, so I did that, and then I did my prayers, meditations, and then I went and got a coffee at Starbucks, and then I came home and I took a shower and I filmed my videos for today, and I was pissed because so this is how I film videos, okay? So I film a video, and then I go over to my computer, and I upload the memory card, and then I render that video, and then so then I go back and I film another video while that one's rendering, and then when that video's done, I go and I take that video and I put it up on YouTube, right? Okay, and then I render it. But then what I do is, I delete it off my memory card because it's already uploaded, and then I delete it out of iMovie and everything, okay? Clean up as you go. This actually hasn't happened to me in a while. I have it on 85 in here, and it is, the biscuits are done. It is really hot. So anyway, well, I filmed all of my videos except for my Peter Likes Books channel today because it started getting really dark in the house, and I was like, it was too shadowy to make videos, and then I was gonna do a book vlog and just drive around, and it was getting kind of late for that because I had to get ready to go get Tanya. So anyway, I go to upload my Peter Reviews channel, like to render it when I got it finished, because that was the last video that I made, and upload my Peterisms channel to my Peterisms channel, and the video was not there. And I'm like, where is this video? And then I remembered that I hadn't like titled it when I rendered it, and I was like, well, this video didn't make it on here. So somehow I never uploaded to the computer even my Peterisms video, which was fine. It was only like a 6-minute video, and I might incorporate it into what video I do tomorrow on that channel. But I'm trying to upload on most of my channels on a daily basis. I'm trying to get back into that again. And so I was a little disappointed in myself that I didn't get that video up, but it is what it is. It was a good one too. I want to say, but I don't want to talk about it on here because it was a good one. Basically, at the core, it was about knowing when you've learned the lesson you're supposed to learn. So that was what it was about. And then I forgot to charge my battery, and I took my camera with me because I was going to vlog when, like, with Tanya or after the meeting or whatever. But we had a real serious meeting, and so afterwards Tanya and I were talking about it a lot. And oh, the other thing was, it took me all day again to get my vlog up, which is why I didn't get my vlog up till like 10 p.m., which I wasn't happy about. And then, so anyway, then after the meeting, Tanya and I drove her to go get a fountain pop. I got a bottle of water, she got a fountain pop. And we drove around and talked for a little bit. And one of our friends celebrated 15 years tonight. It was awesome. And I've literally seen him, you know, grow in the program since I remember when he came in. And I don't know, I just got real emotional about it, thinking about my friends that had gone back out. And he was like, you know, one of us that was like, we all hung out together and stuff. This guy tonight that got his 15 years. And so it just reminded me of like my friends that had gone back out. And Tanya and I had to go back out means like they started using again. And Tanya and I had a conversation about that. And I mean, I even said to her tonight, I was like, you know, because it's interesting, like, I've gotten some questions since I talk about that on here, like, do you just stop talking to people when they go back out? That's not really how it works. Like, I don't ever stop talking to people. They kind of stop talking to me, or, you know, us, because I think what happens is they kind of realize that their life doesn't, I'm not used to driving in, like, shoes, because I'm always wearing sandals. I think they kind of realize that, like their life doesn't really fit ours anymore or something, or our life doesn't fit theirs, and so they kind of float away and stop, you know, interacting. And I even said to Tanya tonight, I said, we got real emotional in the car, and I said, I think we need to get over them. I said, because they have truly gotten over us. I said, they are over us. They've moved on, you know? And she's like, that's the truth right there. So, but it's hard, you know? The statistic was shared tonight that there's something like, in the United States, there's something like 2 million people in sobriety, alcoholics in sobriety. Hold on a second.
I weren't accepting cash, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Can I get a large Diet Coke, please?
Yes, wait, second window.
Okay. I'll talk about this in just a second. Let me move this way so she doesn't have to be on it. My lips are drying up so quick tonight. I feel like I've been using chapstick all day long. I don't know where this conversation's gonna go, what I'm gonna talk about, so I'm kind of like waiting until Slim's Pizza and Salads, it says. I'm trying to wait till I get my Diet Coke so I can kind of get into this conversation a little bit. So to speak, it looks like I'm way down here. Hello, I'm just ahead, trying to get ahead. I'm so silly. Oh. I'm like low on gas, and I'm like, when did I get gas last? Was it last night that I got... Seriously, what just happened to the camera? That was weird, wasn't it? Okay, wait. This is when I try to focus it, is when it like get turned off. Or it gets turned off. If these people in front of me got a Big Mac and fries, I'm gonna be so pissed. I want a Big Mac so bad. I really just want the taste of a Big Mac. I wonder if you could buy that Big Mac sauce somewhere. I love that Big Mac sauce. Is it not so good? It's basically just Thousand Island dressing, isn't it? Hey, how are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good night.
You too. Cheers. Okay, so so there are like committees within 12-step programs, and in all 12-step programs, and there's like governing forces that, you know, like, so you somebody volunteers to do a service position. Like, I've held these service positions before, and then you go to these like meetings, and then they bring information back. Well, what is the deal with this camera? Please don't turn off. So my friend who is in one of these service positions, like, her job is to come back and like report what they talk about in this big meeting. Like, not a 12-step meeting, but like a business meeting, kind of a big, huge meeting, right? Of like a representative from every meeting in the state. So, or in the city, because this was area. So she came back and she was talking about some things that they had, some statistics they had found. And the statistic was that nationally there are something like 2.5 or 3, I think it's 2.5 million people. Oh, no. Okay, internationally, there are like 2 or 3 million people sober in the world, okay, from alcoholism. But in the United States, there are 35 million people. This statistic still doesn't sound right to me, but there are 35 million people in the United States that are affected or suffering from alcoholism, okay? I feel like maybe those statistics, anyway. The thing that's sad about it is that 15 years ago, you know, the people that, I don't know, you're just not seeing, like, okay, the numbers that were 15 years ago are not a whole lot different than the numbers now as far as the people in sobriety, but the numbers of people that are becoming addicted is growing, right? So what we're seeing is this huge influx of addiction, untreated addiction, right? And it's so heartbreaking, you know? And then when you look at it and you see all of the people that are dying, all of the people that are incarcerated, all of the people whose lives are affected by it, the divorces, the jobs, the failed jobs, you know, all this kind of stuff, it just is so heartbreaking. And I sat there, you know, tonight, and I was looking around all the people, and I thought, how blessed are we? You know, that recovery is so truly a gift. You know, and then my friend got 15 years, and I was real emotional because I was like, there are so many people out there that will never receive the gift of sobriety or be introduced to it. And, you know, I'm so blessed that I was. And then I was thinking about my friends that are no longer sober. And, you know, I don't know for them, like, I know a couple of my friends, like a couple of my friends that have gone back out, I don't know what's going on with them. But a couple of my friends that are out, like, seem to be enjoying their lives, you know, from what I see on Facebook and stuff like that. And so I don't know. Maybe, you know, then it makes you wonder, well, do you really have an addiction issue? And Tanya and I were talking about that last night. It's like, you know, I've been sober since I was 22 and a half years old, okay? Well, when I look back on my addiction, I think a lot of it had to do with me numbing my feelings about being gay and coming out, not being confident in my own skin, not liking myself, you know, feeling like a failure all the time, things like that. So, you know, it'd be really easy for me to rationalize it and be like, well, I was so young, maybe I'm not an alcoholic. You know what I mean? Or, you know, like, who's to say that now I couldn't handle, like, having a glass of wine and whatever. And, you know, I said this in a counseling session one time, and Alex was kind of surprised I said it. And I said, you know, like, I've never been able to, like, sit on the beach and have, like, a beer with you. I've never been able to, you know, like, go out to dinner or sit around our house at the end of the day and have a glass of wine. That tree is pretty, isn't it? And have a glass of wine. You know, I've never been able to just, like, get drunk and, you know, have a wild night with my husband. I've never been able to do that with my husband and share those experiences. Yet everybody else in his life, he's been able to do that with, family, friends, and whatever. Like, he's been able to do that, you know? And so, to me, sometimes it feels like this boundary that I haven't, you know, been able to experience those things with my husband. But at the same time, you know, what's the trade-off? Because recovery is such a gift. And I could be dead or incarcerated if I was, you know, still out there using right now. Or, you know, whatever, who knows. Or I could be miserably using on a regular basis, you know. And I think sometimes in my life, I don't know. You know, the 4 years that I didn't have any emotional sobriety in my life and no spiritual foundation, and I just felt completely lost all the time, you know, and I look back on that and just trying to, you know, kind of keep up with everybody and everything. It's like not using, but not having any sobriety or clarity of mind was almost worse than using at times. I know that sounds desperate, but it's looking back. I mean, it was a pretty miserable place. I think that's why you find people in sobriety that take their lives, because it's like they're in sobriety, but they're just, you know, they're not doing the work. They're not, you know, evaluating their lives, and I don't want that to happen to me. You know, that's why it's important for me to go to meetings and tell about where I'm at in my life and what's going on with me and what I'm struggling with, and do an inventory with my sponsor, and having friends that are sober, and, you know, going to meetings regularly, and working steps, and having service positions, and being invested and being involved, and, you know, working steps, having, you know, fellowship, and, you know, doing service. It's like all of that is important to me. Because if I don't, it just stopped, and I didn't even realize that was at the end. I don't know where I will be in my life. I don't know what that'll look like. So, and I really, to be honest with you, it kind of like was weird. It didn't make a sound when it stopped. It kind of went back in. So I hope that's right where it stopped, but I'm not sure. So anyway, you know, like, I don't know what my life will look like. And so I was telling Tanya, you know, about that, and she was like, yeah, sometimes I wonder the same thing. I mean, like, that's one of the things with long-term sobriety. It's like you start questioning, well, I mean, we came in 20 years ago, like, maybe I'm not the person I was then. Maybe I can handle this. Maybe I can handle that, you know? And what we were talking about was normal people don't think that way. You know, like, if you're not an alcoholic out there, you know, you don't think to yourself, well, maybe I could have a drink, or maybe I could drink 6. I mean, that's not something that people that aren't alcoholics and addicts think. You know, maybe I could just smoke a blunt, you know? Like, if I smoked a blunt, would I be okay, or would I be back to smoking every day, like all day long, every day, like I used to? Like, that's not something that, like, a normal person thinks, right? They just go and they're at a party, they take a hit off a joint or a blunt or something, you know what I mean? Like, or they'll have a beer. It's not like they're thinking it through. So that thinking alone indicates skewed thinking of an addict mind, you know? And, I don't know. I just, tonight, I feel very, very blessed to be sober and have been given the gift of sobriety and been introduced to it. And I don't take it for granted for 1 second today. And when I came back in, after having not gone to meetings for 4 years, Tanya said to me, we had this conversation a lot. She said, I don't know how you went 4 years. I was in bars all the time, okay? I was angry, frustrated, irritable. She goes, I don't know how you didn't use. And I said, what do you mean? And she would say, I just don't understand. Like, if it was me, I would have been using. I mean, I'm not going to meetings. I don't have any connections, like, other than, you know, she and I being friends still. Like, why not go pick up, you know, like, and I said, I don't know. I said, there was just something about me, like, I just couldn't give that up, like, you know what I mean? Like, even though I wasn't doing anything. And the thing I think the thing is that with my friends that have gone back out often, before they do, they kind of turn against, like, they'll say they're not getting anything from 12-step meetings anymore, like, the program isn't doing for them what it used to, or, you know, like, they don't feel the need, like, you know, I never said that. Like, I never said I don't need to be going to meetings, I don't need to be working with my sponsor. You know, I knew those things. I knew I needed to be in meetings. I knew I needed to be working with my sponsor regularly, and thank God he checked in on me, you know, regularly. You know, I was scared. I was scared to go back. And I was scared because I really was afraid of the judgment. This is kind of an interesting story, actually. I was afraid of the judgment that would be passed on me. And I thought, like, you know, people would be like, well, where have you been? Oh, you've been gone for 4 years. Oh, you really didn't use, and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, the first night that I went back, when I called Tanya and I asked her to take me to a meeting, she said, you know, I've been praying for 4 years for you to ask me that. And, so, you know, we went to that meeting that night, and it was a Tuesday night, and so she asked me if I wanted to go to the meeting that we went to tonight, which is our home group, and it was my home group before, you know, and all that kind of stuff, and I said, oh, no, I'm not going to that meeting, like, where I'm gonna run into everybody that I know, right, and it's gonna be like, you know, 30 people looking at me, like, passing judgment. Like, I was not ready for that at all. So we went to this other meeting that was at this recovery clubhouse near us, and it was like a blizzard condition night, and there were like 4 or 5 other people there, and it was a very small meeting, and there was like one other person that I knew, and she was just coming back in too, and it felt so connected and so right. And then, I've told a lot of this on here before, but not what I'm going to say in a second. And so I don't think I have. I probably have. I've told every story at this point. And so so anyway, when I went home that night, like I said to Tanya, I said, do you want to go to a meeting tomorrow? And she was like, you know, for the 4 years that you've been gone, I've been going to meetings consistently. Like, I don't need to go to a meeting every day, but I think that would be good for you. Well, my social anxiety was so horrible that I didn't want to go, but I did. I went back to the meeting the next day, and that's a whole other story about somebody I ran into, and he and I made amends to each other. And that's like just the power, I think, of a 12-step program. But I've told that story on here before. But what's interesting is I started going to this clubhouse like daily, like every day I would go, right? And I was really kind of afraid to venture out from there. Like, I started feeling very comfortable there. The meetings are all at the same time there. Like, you know, there's like a 12, like there's like I think there's like a 7, a 9, a 12, an 8. And then there was on the weekends there had some different meetings. But I would go consistently to the 12 and the 8, 12 and 8 every day I went. Okay, this is not too long ago, you guys. This is like 6 years ago. I think we've been married 7 years. This was like 6 years ago. Every day, are you ready? Like, starting in January. So, I was going to 2 meetings a day, every day. Like, Alex and I had a very serious conversation about it. I was like, I've got to go back, you know, and he was like, okay. And I was like really afraid that our marriage was going to fail as a result of it, you know? Like, I said, I'm either going to fix me and it'll fix our marriage, and our marriage will end up getting better as well. you know, and our problems at that point, our problems with our relationship, I mean, we both had a huge part in it. It wasn't just one-sided. And he was like, and I said, or I'll go back and, you know, like, I'll fix me and we'll be okay. Like, and you'll go your way and I'll go mine. And, you know, it was so weird. Like, I was so terrified of, well, who are Peter and Alex if Peter's not going out with Alex all the time? And, you know, what was interesting was that, like, a lot of people always ask on here about, like, Alex and I, like, our schedule of, like, spending time together and things. Well, that's something that's kind of, like, happened over time, you know, that we've developed, like, nights that we spend together, and when we go out, you know, to dinner with other people and things like that, or if he wants to go out, you know, and, like, if he wants to go to Chicago tomorrow and I don't want to go. See, back in the day, like, during those 4 years, you bet your ass I was going to be in Chicago, okay? Like, I was everywhere he was, and he was everywhere that I was, and it wasn't healthy. It was, we were too enmeshed, and I think the enmeshment led to a lot of fighting. It also took away our own independence of being our own people within a relationship. So we really didn't get to share anything with the other person because we kind of were the same person, if that makes sense. And me going back to meetings allowed us to, you know, positively and negatively, like, learn new things about ourselves, you know. But ultimately, if I hadn't gone back into meetings again, we wouldn't be married right now. I just don't believe that I would. You know, I think that we wouldn't be. So anyway, but what happened was, you know, I reference going to marriage counseling and stuff like that, but I don't really talk a lot about the power of it. And, you know, I haven't gotten a lot of messages from people lately about it. I used to get messages quite a bit, people asking me, like, how to find a counselor and all this kind of stuff. But if you're out there and you're in a relationship, or this is the thing, like, if Alex and I had started going a lot sooner than we did, you know, I think it's kind of like, and I use this analogy for other things. I just poked my eye, and I don't know what I did, but I got like an eyelash in my eye. It's driving me nuts now. Between that and my beard, I don't even know how I'm gonna... But anyway, you know, like, when you throw your necklaces, like, in your jewelry box and they start getting tangled, and it's like you just continue to let it happen, and you pull one out and you, like, pull it out, and it just makes it more tangled, and you do that over a period of time, right? Like, if right when you had 3 necklaces, you went in and you, like, untangled the 3 necklaces, it would be pretty easy, right? But if you waited, let's say, 6 years, and then you went in, and by that time you had, let's say, 20 necklaces, and you're trying to untangle them, well, it'd be a lot more difficult, and there would be a lot more work that it would require, right? And I think that what people do often is, I'm thankful that we did, you know, not wait till the very last minute, but we waited. We waited too late to get into marriage counseling. Not too late, because, I mean, marriage counseling has literally saved our marriage, you know? I mean, like, it literally saved our marriage. And, you know, to where we can, like, sit in marriage counseling sessions now and laugh and leave, and what are we gonna go get for dinner? Are you going home? Or, you know, like, hey, I'll see you at home. I mean, I can't say that that's exactly how they started, you know? Like, it's been super powerful, but, like, you know, if you wait that long until you can't untangle the necklaces anymore, it's gonna be so hard. If you're a couple out there, or, you know, like, and you guys are just having communication difficulties, or you feel like your partner's not listening to you, or you feel like your needs aren't getting met, these things that turn into huge things over time, right? It's important then to maybe go seek out somebody then. And it's not to say that you need counseling for the next 5 years, okay? Maybe you only need to go see somebody for, let's say, 3 to 6 sessions or something, you know what I mean? And then they can help you, you know, kind of decipher some of that stuff and start learning new you know, ways to communicate with each other. And that's really what happened to Alex and I. You know, it's like, we don't communicate any way near the way that we used to, you know? And not whatsoever. And I think we've learned so much about each other, you know, over time. And I love my husband. He's the love of my life. And I'm proud of the work that we've done, you know. This got off into a different direction. I was going to talk about something else. So anyway, so I started going to, anyway, to end that part of it, if you have any questions whatsoever about maybe, you know, like, oh, you know, like my partner and I, my husband and I, my girlfriend and I, or whatever, are kind of thinking about, you know, like maybe I thought maybe it would be a good idea. Go. Don't put it off 6 months or a year. Go. Because I think that's when you're the most open-minded to it, if that makes sense, you know? So anyway, and go with an open mind and be willing to do the work too. You know, if you're gonna go and get the most as you can get out of it. So I was going to this clubhouse like every day, 8 and 12, or 8 and 12, 12 and 8 every day. And on Sundays, there was this evening meeting at a church that was a speaker meeting. And a speaker meeting is just where somebody gets up and they tell their story, right? For an hour. It's called a lead. And so I started going to this meeting on a regular basis. Well, this guy that had been sober probably 5 or 6 years longer than I had, and I remembered him from my home group, okay? Well, now, there's like sister meetings. So my home group is a discussion meeting, and this is the speaker meeting that goes along with it, okay? But they're on Tuesdays and Sundays, see? But not everybody that goes to Tuesday goes to Sunday. Not everybody that goes to Sunday goes to Tuesday. I mean, anybody can go wherever you want to go. Okay. So I started going to the speaker meeting on Sunday nights. Because a lot of people that went to the clubhouse, they went to the speaker meeting as well. So that month that I started to go, the person that was chairing the meeting was this guy that was like 5 or 6 years sober before me. And so he was one of the first people that I met when I came in, right? And kind of a father figure type, and had always been very kind to me, very compassionate, but very direct, told me what I needed to hear, you know? And I feel so blessed in my life that I had a lot of loving assholes, I should say, that told me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear, and were willing to tell me things, not to just sugarcoat shit. And so anyway, the first time I went to that meeting that he was there chairing it, like I had gone like 2 weeks, and that was like the month before, and he wasn't chairing it, and then I went the next month and he was chairing it. And so we were talking after the meeting, and he said, he was like, when are you going to come back to this meeting, my home group meeting? And I said, yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna do that. And he goes, why not? And I go, oh yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm real apprehensive about that, right? And he goes, why are you apprehensive about it? And I go, I don't know, I just don't want people to pass judgment on me. And I had some issues with that meeting anyway. I had gotten into an argument with somebody that went to that meeting, and the night that I decided I wasn't going back, I said to Tanya, I was like, fuck those people, they don't know me, and blah, blah, blah. I used my anger and my lack of grieving my mother's death as an excuse to not go back. Well, when I came back in the second meeting that I went to, but the very first meeting that I went to by myself, I sat down next to the guy that I had gotten into an argument about, or I sat down and then he came in and sat down. I told the story on here not too long ago. And so after the meeting, he looked at me and he goes, can we talk outside? He goes, I think I owe you an amends. And he had actually gone back out and come in and gotten sober again. And to this day, he's one of my dearest friends, and we've had such a great, you know, mending of friendship, and I love that about sobriety and recovery, you know, is that it's mending of relationships, you know. It's phenomenal, you know. And so anyway, I went and I saw this friend of mine at that meeting, and he was like, when are you going to, I was like, why is that car driving down the middle of the road? They're like, I think they're delivering newspapers or something, but it's only 2 o'clock in the morning. They have their hazard lights on, they're driving down the middle of the road. Isn't that kind of like what newspaper delivery people do? I've had a couple of friends of mine that deliver newspapers, I guess I should know, but anyway, whenever I'm done vlogging and I'm driving home at night, I always see ours in our neighborhood, but we don't get the paper. But we live around a lot of older people, and most of them do. My mother used to read the newspaper every day. She'd always start with the obituaries. I'd be like, Mom, why do you always start with something so depressing? She'd be like, well, I have to know if somebody that I know died. I'm like, okay. So anyway, the first time I saw him there, he was like, so when you coming back? And I was like, oh, no, I don't know. You know, like, I'm intimidated, whatever. And so the second time I saw him, he was like, you didn't come back last week. And I said, well, I didn't say I was coming back next week. I said, because I told him the first time, I was like, well, sometime I will. And he goes, you need to come back. He goes, you were a part of that meeting for a really long time. People love you there. And, you know, it's hardcore. It's like, that's where you need to be. You need to hear what people have to say there. And I must have just had some kind of look in my face. And he goes, come here for a second. He gave me a hug and he stepped back and he goes, we love you, Peter. He goes, and, you know, you need to hear that. You need to hear that we love you and that, you know, you're worthy. And I just lost it. I just lost it completely, because I didn't feel that inside, you know. And I've struggled with that a lot in my life anyway, this feeling of worthiness. And, you know, it's interesting that I came from two parents that were so loving and affectionate, and I never ever doubted whether or not they loved me or not. But I think because of a lot of the shit that I went through growing up, I've really, you know, questioned my own self-worth, my own self-value, and things like that. So he goes, I want you to make me a commitment that you're gonna come this Tuesday. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And he goes, make me a commitment that you'll come. Now, Tanya hadn't been going to that meeting either. She had been going to some other meetings. And she had said, oh, I think I should go back and blah, 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 whatever. I missed the meeting. We went to it for so long together. But it was hard for her because there weren't a lot of people that she knew that were going to that meeting anymore. So I remember I called her and I was like, so if we go on Tuesday, do you want to go? And she was like, or I said, if I was going to go on Tuesday, would you want to go? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, seriously? And she was like, yeah. If it wasn't for her, I don't think that I would have walked back into that meeting. I was so terrified. And, I was so emotional tonight in the meeting. I might get emotional telling this, but, I just don't think that I ever would have walked back into that specific meeting again. And I think that had I not, I don't know that my sobriety would look like it does right now. Like, I don't know that I would have gone on to get the sponsors that I did, and I don't know that I would have gone on to work the steps the way that I'm working them, or even continue to do service work or whatever. I think I would have become very stagnant, and I think I would have eventually gotten off going to the 12 and the 8s, and, you know, and I don't know, you know. And so we went to the meeting, and it was exactly what my friend said, you know. Everybody was like, it's so good to see you. We missed you so bad. We're so glad you're alive. I mean, I heard that from so many people. We're so glad you're alive. And I felt like I was home again, you know. And so I did. I went to that meeting for several years, and then I got a different sponsor somewhere else, and then I just recently came back to going to that as my home group about a year ago when I got my new sponsor. She doesn't go to that meeting, but she goes to a different meeting. She goes to a really hardcore meeting. And it's her and like another friend that's a woman and like 40 men. She loves it. She's like, they can't tell me I can't come just because I'm a woman at this meeting. My sponsor is such a badass. I love her. It's been a good day today, but like, it took me a while to kind of get out of that. Struggling this morning. I don't know. I just didn't have any motivation, and like I said, I wasn't like sad. I just like was like blah. Do you know what I mean? Like I just didn't feel like doing anything. It just was like, ugh. Oh my God, my eye. Don't you hate that when you get like an eyelash? I know how to fix it, like if I pull over. I'm gonna probably pull over here in a second, but what was I gonna say? I don't even remember what I was gonna say now. Oh my God. So, okay. So many people have messaged me or told me since I got on YouTube, actually, because I've always said like there aren't really that many YouTubers from Indiana, on and on and on, right? So people always have told me about this YouTuber named Lana, Indiana. Okay, so I didn't know who Lana, Indiana was. I didn't know anything about Lana, Indiana, but all I know was that every time that somebody would comment on it or they would tell me to watch her, what they would say is, you know, like, you should check out Lana, Indiana, but she's not posting videos anymore. Or like, you should check out Lana, Indiana, but she stopped posting videos on YouTube. That's what people would say, right? Excuse me. So I would be like, well, why am I gonna check her out if she's not posting videos on YouTube anymore? Like, that doesn't even make any sense, okay? So, but then, like, in the last couple days, I've gotten a lot of messages from people, and they're like, you should check out Lana, Indiana. You should, you know, whatever. Like, she's from Indiana, and she just came back. She started making videos again. Well, last night I was sitting around at home, and I was bored, and like late before I was going to bed, and I started, well, it couldn't have been that late, because let me tell you what happened. So, I started watching Lana's videos, okay? Now, let me just tell you about Lana, Indiana, first of all. I fell in love with Lana, Indiana last night. Okay, it's gonna stop. Hold on just a second. Okay, so anyway, I love Lana, Indiana. Here's the thing. She started making videos on YouTube like 9 years ago. Okay, so this is somebody that's like been around for a long time on YouTube, right? And she does so many different kinds of videos. She does like these, like, you know, makeup tutorials, skincare routines, get readies with me, my outfit of the day. She shows her house. She shows this, she shows that. Well, I went in and I watched her last 2 videos, okay? And her last 2 videos are, like, one's like a skincare routine, and the other one is, like, where have I been? And it's her in this RV that absolutely incredible. It looks like this country music star, okay? Like Dolly Parton travels around in. It's, like, unbelievable inside. And she shows this, and she shows where she's been in all these different places, right? So I'm like watching these videos of hers, and I'm just kind of like randomly picking this and picking that. And I'm like she'll talk, one of the things I love about her is, like, as she's doing like a skincare routine, or as she's doing, like, you know, a makeup video or whatever, she'll talk about pieces of her life. And so I started like piecing things together by kind of like watching them back. I was like, I went back to her very, very first video, and then I like went forward a couple years and back and forth, whatever. I ended up watching videos forever last night. And, I mean, I just became obsessed. Like, she just is so easy to watch. She's so compassionate and kind and just a very endearing soul, but there's just something that's so fun to watch her about. And one of the things I love about her is that, like, okay, so she loves, like, very high-end stuff, like Chanel jackets and, you know, bags and shoes and stuff. So she was showing, there's one video she's showing this stuff, but she's very humble about it too, you know? And it was interesting because it reminded me of when I was talking on here about, like, you know, it's okay to like nice things, like, but not to be like that to be your life. And you can tell, like, for her, like, she's such a good-hearted person. Like, you know, just in her videos, she just seems like such a, you know, a great person. And so then I kind of was like piecing stuff together, and I was like, oh, like, her husband passed away. Because she's talking in there about her husband being sick. And then I flash forward, and then she's talking about, like, there's a video called like Moving Forward or something, and she talks in there about her husband passing away, and I got like, I felt so bad for her, you know, I'm like watching all this kind of stuff. And then she had these videos, okay? This is, I think, what really clinched it for me with her. Because you could really see her soul in these videos. Like, who she was in her heart and how hurt she was in this situation. And that, just what a good person she was in her heart, you know, in her soul. And she did this video, and it was called, like, A Woman's Rant or something like that. It's from, like, 4 years ago. And what it was that she goes out to her husband's grave, like, every Tuesday or something. And when she would go out there, I was telling Tanya the story tonight. I was like, I'm going to send you her video. You've got to start watching her. I said, Tanya, you will love her. You will absolutely fall in love with her. And so, she would go out to her husband's grave, and every week when she would go out there, there'd be a single red rose on the husband's grave. And she was like, I know that somebody like left it, like a woman or whatever, and why is this woman's, you know, messing with my head? So she goes and she writes a note to whoever it is and says, stop doing it. Because she would take the roses and she would throw them to the side, and then she would come back, and like the roses she had thrown to the side would be back on the grave with like a fresh new rose, right? And she was like so hurt in this video. It was so hard to watch. You could just tell that she was like she was so confused and she was so hurt by it. So she writes this woman a letter, and the woman writes her back a letter like it's laminated, okay? I mean, you're watching it, and at this point, there's like 4 videos. Like, she and her friend, she like is gonna hire like a police investigator and to find out who this person is, and then she and her friend like attach like this is part I was telling Tanya. They like attach like a camera, like some kind of camera to a tree, and I was to like catch the person. I was telling Tanya that. Tanya goes, oh my God, that totally sounds like something that we would do. And I was like, right? And like this woman writes her back this note, and it's just so cruel, you know? And I don't know, I just very much fell in love with her videos last night. So thank you for recommending me to her. And I'm so happy that she's back, and I have 9 years of videos to catch up on, so I have lots of videos to watch, not just those, but yeah. It was fun watching those last night. It was interesting, you know, it's like interesting to find a new YouTuber that you like and to kind of fall down the rabbit hole of their videos and then want to go in and just like watch all of their videos. Does that happen to you with anybody? That you just like start watching them, you're like, oh my God, like I'm intrigued with this. And the thing for me that's so weird is it's almost like the more normal they are, like the more intrigued I am with their life. It's almost like I'm watching a friend and I'm just like watching a reality show about their life. Like that's totally what it feels like to me. And it was interesting because I was looking at some of her videos from like 9 years ago, and like the thumbnails are horrible, and some of them are very clickbaity, but like the pictures that are used with the videos are just like horrendous. And she got like hundreds of thousands of views on some of these videos. And it was so funny because I was like thinking to myself, God, YouTube has changed, hasn't it? It's like when YouTube started, you know, like it wasn't about fancy thumbnails and all these incredible titles, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, I mean, if you look back at it now, it's kind of like, you know, like how to make $20,000 a month, or, you know, the most fantastic shoe in the entire world. You know, I mean, there's still videos out there like that, but like the thumbnails are so like high quality thumbnails, and people have editors, and people are hiring people to make thumbnails, you know, like these graphic designers and stuff to make thumbnails for, I mean, these like big end, you know, like big scale YouTubers and stuff like that. And it's like, if you don't have a perfect thumbnail, nobody will watch your video kind of attitude, you know? I guess except for my vlog, because I just pick one of the 3. You get to pick like, so if you don't make your own thumbnail, you get to pick like one of the 3 like screenshots from the video, and one of them's always like this. There'll be like one that's like this, and then there's another one that's like, and then there's one that'll be just like, and that's usually the one I pick. The one that's the most normal is the one I usually pick. Isn't that so funny? The only videos that I make thumbnails for regularly are on my Peter Monn channel, and even that, it's not anything extravagant. I'm just not good at thumbnails. I'm not good with, I mean, you know, there's like websites that you can go to, like PicMonkey, and there's another website online that you can make like really good, you know, I've had people explain to me what to do. I'm not very technological, so, and it also takes time, you know, like, you know, and so I just go in and like, you know, whatever. But what's interesting is that most of the people that I watch that, like, I really enjoy to watch, like, they don't really, like, I'm talking about big time YouTubers, you know? It's not like they have, like, these extravagant, you know, thumbnails. They just don't, like, even Shane Dawson doesn't really even have, like, super extravagant thumbnails, you know what I mean? Now, in his conspiracy videos back in the day, he kind of did, but, you know, like, with his interviews and stuff, not so much anymore, he doesn't. You know, he just kind of takes a screenshot from the video, and that's what he uses. In fact, it was interesting because, you know, I do the after shows on, like, when he does, like, the series on somebody, and I think it was the Jeffree Star series. I, like, took a screenshot and used it as a thumbnail for one of my videos, and he tweeted me and was like, because I tweeted that out, and I tagged him in it, and he said, I almost used that screenshot as my thumbnail. YouTube was a different place 9 years ago, you know? If you've been watching it as long as I have, it's like, I don't know. The people have changed, a lot of them, and somebody said to me the other day, one of my friends said, how long are you gonna vlog for? And I go, like, tonight? And they go, no, like, how many years, how many days? And I go, I don't know, I guess until people don't want to watch it anymore, you know, is what I'll do. And I said, right now, there's a few people out there that seem to enjoy it. And my friend was like, well, how many people watch your videos a day? And I go, I don't know, like minimum 2,000. And they go, 2,000 people watch you drive around in a car every day? I go, I've had this conversation with my family and my husband and stuff like that. And I just can't even begin to tell you guys, like, how much it means to me, you know, that you guys watch. It means the world to me. You know, I went to high school and I graduated, so my high school was sophomore, junior, and seniors. And my graduating class was like 670 people. So let's just say if it was 700 people a class, right? So that's, you know, 2,100 people estimated in the whole high school. The idea that that many people watch my vlog on a daily basis is surreal to me. More than that, many days. And it warms my heart. It's so funny because, like, the comments that you guys leave, I don't think you have any idea really what they do to me, you know? And it's not even like, I mean, the comments that are like, you know, oh my God, Peter, I love you, you're so funny, or I love when you share this, or whatever, like, those are so nice. But it's also the comments of, like, when you guys are invested enough to say, like, you know, like, hey, be careful about eating this, or, you know, you should really check out this food, or, oh my God, I read that book too and I loved it. And it's like, it feels very like this reciprocal relationship, which I never expected when I started doing YouTube videos. You know, I never did. And the weird thing about it is that on BookTube, it really was like that, even though it's like a small community. Like, right away, it was like that, you know? And there are still people on my BookTube channel that they commented, like, literally on my very first BookTube video ever, and they're still commenting on my videos that I post on BookTube, you know? And I don't get a lot of views on that video. You know, like, this is the thing that, on those videos, like, this is the thing that, like, when people say to me, like, I'm only getting, like, you know, so many views a video, like, you know, I don't know what to do and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, you can't get bogged down with all that stuff. I mean, it's hard. It's hard sometimes, like, you know, when you make a video and you think to yourself, oh, it's going to get this many views, and it doesn't get that many views and whatever. But, like, one of the things that's always kept me grounded in that is, like, BookTube. You know, like, there are videos that I do over there that don't even hardly break 300 or 400 views. But then I sit there and I think to myself, you know, like, I look at that, like a review. Like, if I do a book reviews just don't do very well on my BookTube channel a lot. But typically on a lot of BookTube channels, they just don't, book reviews just don't do real well. People like to see hauls, people like to see book discussions, people like to see, you know, challenges and things like that. But book reviews don't do really well because often people don't want to watch the review until they've read the book, if that makes sense, which I totally understand. I don't usually watch reviews until I've read the book because I don't want it to affect, like, my going into the book. But I do it because I think for the author, it's fair to get, you know, criticism and positive, you know, negative, whatever, constructive criticism. And I also think for other people, you know, like, and so I've made a commitment this year that I'm reviewing every book that I read in 2018. I think I'm trying to. I'm like one book behind right now. I still have to do it. But, like, you know, I'm lucky if I break 300, 400, 500 views in those videos. But then I think to myself, holy shit, you know, that's like almost my entire graduating class I went to high school with, you know, they were forced to sit in an auditorium and watch my BookTube video. You know what I mean? And then I think, how cool is that? You know, even if you walked into a room and there were 100 people in there and they all watched your video, or 70, or, you know, like, or 50. Like, 50 people is a lot, you know? It's crazy when you start thinking about, like, that. So I don't know, you know, like, to anybody out there that has that question, you know, whenever I get down in the dumps, Tanya and Alex are always really good about reminding me, yes, but there are so many people out there that love you. There are so many people out there that love to watch you. You know, and I'm like, yep. And you guys are so awesome, you know, to support me and support me in my weight loss journey. I mean, I've gotten so many nice messages on Instagram and Twitter and comments in my comment sections about just, I mean, I've only been on this weight loss thing now for a week, and it's been overwhelming, the support you guys have given me. And honestly, at times that I've struggled with it, I've gone to that and thought, like, this is so awesome. And, like, there are other people that have been doing it for a lot longer than me that are like, you can do this, you got this. I've been doing this for, you know, 2 years, or I've lost this amount of weight, or, you know, whatever. And then there are other people that are like, you know, thank you for inspiring me, I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow. Or, you know, like, I started the day that you did. And so I don't know, it's like, it's cool, you know, it feels really cool. And, I feel very blessed to be able to make videos on any level that anybody wants to watch and hear what I have to say, you know? I think it was like that with my book too, you know, like when I can remember like when I got like my very first review on my book on Goodreads from somebody that I had no clue who they were. And it wasn't like this amazingly glowing review either, but it wasn't horrible. I think they gave my book a 4 out of 5, you know? I mean, I know my book was no, like, you know, 5 out of 5. I'm not an idiot, even though some people have given me 5 out of 5s in my book. I like my book, I'm proud of it. But, you know, it was my first book. And, but shit, I wrote a book. I'm proud of myself for that. You know, I put it out there, and I'm proud of the story. And, But I remember getting that first review, and it was like so surreal to me that somebody that I had no clue who they were, and I had no idea why they were buying it. You have to remember, this was before I was on YouTube, okay? So it wasn't like, you know, but they bought my book and they read it, and I was like, oh my God, this is weird, you know? It felt good though. It was nice, you know? That somebody out there was interested enough or, you know, impacted in some way by something that I had done creatively that they enjoyed. You know, I think on some level, and this is going to sound corny maybe, but it's not a whole lot different than like, you know, making like cookies for, you know, for work, and you spend like an evening making like, you know, special cookies or whatever, and then you take them into work and people are like, oh my God, those are the best cookies in the entire world, you know? It's still that, you know? I mean, you do it for yourself, but indirectly, the people that get something out of it, you know, that have a positive response to it, you know, like, that's where I talk about that reciprocity, you know. It feels good to, I don't know, it just feels good. It's nice, you know. It's gonna be so cold tomorrow, and I have got to get my oil changed. It is going to be so cold tomorrow in Chicago. My oil change is not even due until December, but my light came on. Don't you hate that? On the Ford Escape, it tells you. It tells you that you need to change it soon, see? Listen, Sister Sally, soon. Shut up. I'll go in. I'll take it in. I should just do it tomorrow and get it done with. But anyway, it's going to be so cold in Chicago. They're going to go up there and have like dinner and stuff first, so that would be kind of fun, you know. The thing is, this DJ that they're going to hear is rather like, kind of like mellow. It's weird. I told Alex, I said, if you don't know who Rufus Du Sol is, in a weird kind of way, they kind of sound a little bit like Depeche Mode. And so, but of course, like, you know, Alex would never think that. And I said to him, I just was like, what just happened with this road? Like, I was like, where is it going? And I didn't even realize that between last night and today, they like moved all of these, they must have moved all these cement things, because I was driving over there yesterday, and now I'm driving on this because they're doing all this construction. I mean, the construction in Indiana is ridiculous. It's constant. But anyway, I was like, I played it for him one time, that personal Jesus, reach out, touch faith. I played that for him. He goes, this doesn't sound anything like that. And I was kind of like, yeah, it kind of really doesn't, but some of their music does. I wasn't a huge Depeche Mode fan back in the day. I mean, I liked them, but like my friends loved Depeche Mode. It's funny that I can like think back to some of my friends in high school and like the big t-shirts. They would always get these huge, these girls I'm my friends with, you know, they would always have these huge t-shirts, and then they would wear like they would have a Cure t-shirt, and it would have like Robert Smith's picture with his crazy hair on the front of it and his lipstick smeared, you know, and all that. And then it would say like The Cure and The Cure writing. And then like they would wear that, like a huge t-shirt, and then they would wear, now, of course, we were kind of like punk rock skater-ish, you know, a little bit. And then they would wear black leggings, and then they would wear black skirts over the black leggings, like those knit skirts, you know? And then they would wear those shoes, those like, what are they called? Like those black cloth shoes, you know what I'm talking about? Back in the day that everybody wore. I can't remember what they're called. But anyway, they would wear those. And like peace necklaces and anarchy signs and, you know, safety, we had safety pins everywhere. I'd sit and like, my mother, she would die laughing at this stuff, because she'd be like, oh, it was so different when we were in high school, what we did, now you do this, you know. But like, I would like take a jean jacket and I would like cut off, you know, like the sleeve, and then I would like fringe it, like I would, you know, fringe it, do you know what I'm talking about? And then like I would go back and attach it again with safety pins. Do you remember doing stuff like this? Or flannel shirts, we would do the same thing with flannel shirts. had a friend of mine that just wore a big safety pin as an earring. Those were the days, my friend. We used to smoke those clove cigarettes back in the day. God, every once in a while I get a whiff of one of those. I'm like, how did I smoke this? I mean, that wasn't what I consistently smoked, but we would smoke those, you know, to be bougie when we be real intellectual. We would smoke the clove cigarettes. That's when you could smoke in restaurants, and then you'd light up a clove cigarette, and the waiter would come over and say, "I'm sorry, you're not allowed to smoke clove cigarettes in here." Not those days anymore. You can't smoke anywhere anymore, you know. But back then you could smoke clove cigarettes, but not, you could smoke them outside, but you could smoke regular cigarettes in restaurants and stuff like that back in the day. I can't believe it's so cold this year already. I mean, this is like 22-degree weather and spitting snow is kind of like middle of December to middle of January. Now, I'm wondering if we're not going to have like absolute like horrible wintry conditions this year. And actually, the news was on the background. Where was I when I heard the news earlier today? I was in like a store or something. They had the news on in the background. I can't remember where I was now. It's gonna stop, hold on. That's driving me crazy that I can't remember where I was. Maybe I just had the TV on while I was getting ready, but I don't think that was the case. Where was I? Well, I was somewhere and they had the TV on in the background, and they were talking about the upcoming weather this week. This is driving me nuts that I can't remember where I was. Oh, I think it was when we were at the gas station tonight. And, yeah, I'm almost positive of that. Oh, I know where it was. Yeah, it was at the gas station. It was when I was like, there was no parking, so I parked like at the pump, and then we like walked in. It's like that, you know, that news at the pump. Do you know what I'm talking about? But anyway, they were talking about wintry mix. But I wonder if maybe they weren't talking about Indiana, because sometimes in those pump news stations, they talk about like, it can be anywhere. It doesn't have to just be in Indiana, you know? I love those TV stations at the gas station. They always say, do you know what I'm talking about? The gas stations, they have the little TVs going, and they have like the TV news in the background. They go, Gas Station Network, of which I didn't even know there was a TV station called Gas Station Network, but they go, Gas Station Network, the #1 leading gas station television channel out there, or something like that. I'm like, there's more than one? Are there really more than one gas station TV channels? Is that not crazy? I don't know why that cracks me up, but it kind of does. I used to be able to do that real high pitch when I was in high school. People would be like, do the dolphin sound. I'm like, oh God. See, it wasn't all bad. I had some good times too. Nothing in life is all bad. Did I talk about my personal training appointment tomorrow? Can we just talk about that for a second? Okay. So, all day long today, I have been like, I think I started talking about this and then I stopped talking about it. All day long today, I have been like, you need to cancel that appointment. You need to cancel that appointment. You don't want to go do this appointment tomorrow. And I'm like so nervous about it. I don't know why I am so nervous about this stupid personal training appointment, okay? And, in fact, do you ever kind of like, this is called marriage, okay, right here. This right here, what I'm about to tell you, is called marriage. Do you ever like get kind of like something is not on your partner's radar whatsoever, but then you kind of like start getting pissed that they didn't even ask you about it, you know? Like, I think I mentioned to Alex like 4 days ago that I had this personal training appointment or something like that. And, so of course he would never remember that I have it, you know, tomorrow. And I'm like so nervous about it, right? Like, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Like, I am so nervous about the whole thing. So tonight, before he was going to bed, I was like laying there with him, and I'm thinking to myself, God, he hasn't even asked me like if I'm nervous about it, which he would never phrase it that way, because my husband doesn't get nervous about shit like that, right? He just goes and does it, and I don't even know why I'm nervous about it. So anyway, So finally I go, I have my personal training appointment tomorrow. He goes, oh, I'm so proud of you. He goes, I didn't know what day it was. I was like, so funny, isn't it? Then I was like, yeah, I'm nervous about it. But anyway, so all day today, I was like, he was like, you'll do great, babe. You'll do great. He was like, it'll be good for you. You might really end up, see, he always looks at the positive everything, like it's so good for me. And he said, you'll probably end up loving it. And I thought, that's so true. Like I do. See, like I do end up, I go and I end up loving stuff. So, but all day today, I was like, I gotta cancel that appointment. I can't go. I've got to cancel it, you know? I can't do this. I'm so nervous. And then I was like, no, I said I was going to do this. I said I was going to do the one appointment. And then after the one appointment, if I don't want to go back anymore, I won't schedule any other appointments. No, what'll happen is I'll go in there and I'll love it so much and be like, oh, I need to do this twice a week or something, you know? That's totally so me. But like seriously, up until Tanya and I tonight, which would have been, you know, 9:30, when we went to the gas station after the meeting, I told her like we were getting out, and I go, I have okay, well, first time for the evening, I reached over, and it's so hot in here, you guys, and my camera is like boiling hot right now. But anyway, we pulled up to the gas station, and I was telling Tanya about that I had a personal training appointment tomorrow. And I said, I'm so nervous about it. And she goes, I'm kind of surprised you didn't cancel the appointment. Can you believe she said that to me? Now the air's on. The air, that I don't have any air in this car. But it's blowing out something cooler than the heat. But anyway, she goes, I'm surprised you didn't cancel it. And I go, Tanya throwing shade at me. See, she knows me that well that I typically probably would have. But no, I was like, nope, you're gonna do this. You can do this. You can go to this appointment, and I'm trying to, you know, get through that stuff. And I'm never gonna accomplish my goal of having the body that I want and being in good shape and being healthy if I don't do some of these things, you know, that are uncomfortable for me. Like, I have to work through that stuff. You know, not just, and the lesson there is not just in, well, I need a personal trainer, or I need to go and have him help me set up what I'm gonna do so that I'm effectively doing work, you know, working out in the gym, not just showing up and doing things that aren't helping me. You know, but past that, it's like, okay, I'm learning to take positive risks in my life. I'm learning to push myself through things that aren't comfortable, you know, to grow, because that's how we grow. And, you know, try new things out that are suggested to me. Take the suggestions, you know what I mean? Now this heat is all over the place. Like, it's blowing out cold air. Oh, there it comes. It's like it's either like so hot in here or it's not at all. I almost grabbed my chapstick, but then I went. I felt like I needed it, but I didn't. See, that's the trickery of chapstick. Did y'all watch my chapstick review? Oh, my video last night that I called Don't Try to Guess. Don't try to guess what my review is about. Did you see what my review is about? Lottery tickets. Wasn't that cute? Did you like that? I thought that was a cute idea. I mean, it was my idea, but I did think it was cute. Like, we were in there, and Tanya was talking about the new lottery tickets that she doesn't get lottery tickets all the time, but every once in a while she'll get one. She gets real excited. She thinks she's going to win a bunch of money, and she never does, right? So we were sitting there, and we were talking to our friend that works at the gas station, Tony. Oh my God, the battery's about to die, so I'll end it on this. But anyway, I was like, which ones are the new holiday ones? And so he showed us the 4 that were the new holiday ones. And I was like, okay, give me one of each. And I said, because I'm going to review it. And so I was telling Tanya that. And so he goes, well, I'm out of the candy cane. Do you remember that from Joyride? He goes, I'm out of the candy cane crossword. And I go, well, give me the other 3. I go, are you really out of it? And he goes, yeah. So I drove to the other gas station like that, and they had it. And that was the end of towards the end of my vlog yesterday. I was so excited. I had him back here. I was hiding him from you. But anyway, I was so excited. And so yeah, I made that video today. So if you haven't seen me review the lottery tickets, the holiday lottery scratch-offs, go check it out. I had a lot of fun making that video. video. I have a lot of fun making all the videos on that channel. I'm like loving that channel so much. So anyway, listen, I'm gonna get off here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. Happy hump day. And yeah, do something fun for yourselves today. Look in the mirror, tell yourself I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.